All right, we'll take a look at the local dailies now, and to start off with the Daily Nation. Most expensive presidency, and that's the main story on the front page of this daily. Pushback, State House says budgets for all offices are passed by Parliament. Now, they call it a runaway bill that President William Ruto could easily be running Kenya's most expensive presidency, with expenditure by executive offices, including Office of the President, Deputy President, Prime Cabinet Secretary, and State House, projected to hit a record 100 billion shillings this June. With more than a year to the end of his 5-year term, the bill is expected to surpass the entire budget its predecessor Uhuru Kenyatta spent in 10 years. Runaway bill. The percentage of spending under Ruto's presidency that has gone to recurrent items such as salaries, hosting delegations and travel is 94%. 6% tu peke yake ndio imebaki ifike 100%.
Well,
they call it the most expensive presidency.
What do you think would be the most expensive thing is spending money on? Is it the renovations of State House and State Lodges? That could be, because yes, you can see how big that is. Building of that pavilion at State House, something else that was never there. Now, but hosting people at State House, because you know, when you go to State House, even if it's a political meeting, you're a guest of the head of state. And you have to be entertained by the head of state. Your budget sasa si yake huko nje, hiyo ni yake ya president. Unajua President Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa na invite tu marafiki zake wachache wanakunywa uji. Sasa this president is inviting so many people. Someone was even suggesting goons should be invited to State House yesterday.
Goons?
Yes.
Goons wale bouncers ama goods.
A woman representative for Nairobi, Esther Pasari, suggested that the best way to handle goons is to invite them to State House.
Wafanye nini?
Wa meet the president.
Alafu sasa
budget ya president ipande zaidi.
But anyway, ikuwe zaidi, si ndio ikuwe the most expensive president.
It's already the most expensive.
Lakini I also think those nature development drives, you see the way he goes to every county and kuna vitu anawaachia pale. But
you see that budget is actually domiciled in the respective ministries. If at all he goes to probably launch a market, that should be under the trade ministry, not directly under State House.
Alafu zile za kupeana kanisa. Saa zingine hizo za counties hazitoshi. Lakini Daily Nation has captured this on page 4 and 5. You can grab a copy of this newspaper and take a look at it. It's a very interesting read. Analysis shows Ruto is running Kenya's most expensive presidency.
3 years on.
3 years on.
Ashafikisha 100 billion.
100 billion. 100?
Sema itafika 100 billion very soon.
90.
94%. Na 90 billion is what Uhuru Kenyatta spent over 10 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Uhuru Kenyatta was 89 or 90?
No. The grand total ya Uhuru Kenyatta hapa 90 billion. The first 5-year term 36, the second one 53. Akamaliza hivyo. So William Ruto has already spent that in the first 4 years.
Yes, the most expensive presidency.
Yes.
Other quick headlines here. Wetangula sparks row over MPs' role in national ID cards, and his directive for MPs to deploy their staff to collect and distribute national IDs has raised security concerns and likely abuse for partisan political goals. There are worries that MPs being interested parties could abuse their position with elections due next year. Now, the Law Society of Kenya also cautions involving third parties could compromise the integrity of the documents. This is valid.
What, the complaints?
The complaints.
No, not the directive by the speaker.
The complaints are valid. Wewe uko interested, unataka utakuwa na
issue sasa MP ndo anaenda anachukua IDs anakuja na distribute. If at all he knows that these people in this area are not his voters,
akupei
aleti ID na ataficha. Hiyo ni mchezo mbaya sana hiyo.
So these are valid concerns. Bribery scandal, MP loses post in watchdog team. This is Bumula MP Jack Wamboka. He has been suspended from chairing the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education following claims he solicited bribes from witnesses. Imagine wakienda this route. Tunakumbuka venye governors walikuwa wanasema CPAC, kuna bribery, a lot of bribery inaendelea hapo. So Parliament ikiendelea that route, could eject every chairperson who is accused of bribery.
Kuna hii, there's this word, because a president started this thing and he said very many people in both houses of parliament are rent seeking.
Yes.
Simply, they're extortionists. Oh, wakapiga kelele, senators were accused by governors, they're doing the same. Wakapiga kelele. Now, within the National Assembly itself, now it's the NCIC chairperson, who's a reverend.
Yes.
Yes. Ndo alisema hapa iko shida. So actually, kuna ukweli mahali.
Yes. Ni kama kuna kaukweli, maana yake sasa tunaona action.
Hiyo yote simetokea tu hapo.
Yes. There's a feel good story here, changing face of the dance floor and city nightlife. Leon Frank Dosso remembers the years Kisumu's nightlife had a heartbeat one could feel from the doorway. Back then, music pulled people to their feet onto a shared stage of rhythm and style. I stressed on Kisumu because I come from Kisumu, and right now Nimona complains about Kisumu online that if you go to Kisumu, especially at night, it's a ghost city. There is no one at night. By 9 p.m. ukitembea Kisumu town uko peke yako. And that's ni kama tunaenda the coast way, manake wanasema coast counties are lazy counties. Uko watu ni kama, you know, hawataki pesa yake.
Same thing is happening in Nairobi, by the way, if you've not realized, because a few years back, most of the entertainment places were actually in the CBD. Pale karibu Nation Center hapo kulikuwa na nyingi sana. Right now, if you go to that place after 8 p.m, there's no one. Ni wafanyakazi tu wa Nation Media Group wakienda nyumbani.
Wewe koma wewe.
Now maybe you go down.
Nawaambia nini unawatajia?
Hawako, si ndio sababu tunaangalia si gazeti ni yao. Ni yao tu.
Story ni yao.
Story ni yao. Hakuna kitu na happen hiyo town. Actually Nairobi used to be very active at night. Nowadays unless wanaenda kesha unaitwaje Uhuru Park. Ama pale KICC there's a big event. Other than that, there's no one in town.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. They closed all the entertainment places because of the argument was they were too close to the mosque, Jamia Mosque. Sasa wakaenda kabisa. So Nairobi city is actually dead.
Wanapigia Jamia Mosque kelele.
Wanapiga kelele hapo sana.
Interesting. Lakini for Kisumu sisi tumezoea silence. On the back page of the Daily Nation, 5-leg African athletics series in the works. Ferdinand Omanyala is here as well on a train hapo. They say Kipkeino Classic has been the only WA, what is WA? World Athletics Gold Tour event in Africa.
Yeah.
And KCB clash with home side Al Ahly in Women's Africa Club Championships final. That's the Daily Nation.
Yes, najua kuna story moja ambayo director leo Emmanuel Inonda angependa sana tuizungumzie kwa sport. The fact that, okay, it's a piece of news, like we have to say. For the first time this season, Manchester City is actually top of the table. Yes, they beat Burnley yesterday by a goal to 0. So wamepita Arsenal by a goal difference. They have a superior goal difference. Ni ile tu wako more goals. Sasa huyu director anapiga kelele, story ni yake ama story ni yetu? Itabidi utulie ama ukuje uchukue kazi hapa. Let's take a look at Chan. There's a scandal on the front page of the Standard. There's local football. They say there's a heist. A 42 million shilling payment for Chan 2024 insurance brokerage has triggered a probe by the Anti-Corruption Commission amid claims the deal was awarded to an unlicensed firm. Bank records, correspondence for the insurance regulator and procurement trails indicate Riskwell Insurance Brokers was registered just 4 weeks before the tournament. Wow. Yet on August 4th, the opening day of Chan, funds were transferred from the Federation's accounts to the little-known entity, raising questions about the exact pocketed amount. They have some of the correspondence there on the front page of the Standard. But it's a story on page 3 of the Standard that I think will attract a lot of the attention. They say, pricey shield, condom maker passes on shocks of Iran war. So the boss of the world's biggest condom maker, Carex, says the firm will raise its prices by up to 30% or possibly more if the Iran war continues to disrupt supply of the raw material used in its products. So actually, if you never knew, a lot of the raw material used in making these commodities actually inatoka upande hiyo, sababu mafuta ndio one of the byproducts of petroleum ni hii.
Okay.
So asema demand for condoms has risen by about 30% this year with higher freight costs and delays to shipping worsening shortages. So very soon we could be experiencing shortages in Kenya as well. Yeah.
Mwezi jundia wa Kenya yenu.
Nataka sawa Juni. Watatoa wapi hiyo raw material? Raw material itatoka wapi? Strait of Hormuz imefungwa.
Waweke ile mafuta ya kupika.
You know, they keep opening and reopening and closing the Strait of Hormuz. So that's a problem. So that's story on page 3. Alafu, in the UK, they've agreed to ban smoking for people born after 2008. So if you're born after 2008, you're officially banned from smoking. Kama ni mzee anaweza kubaliwa, lakini ukifika it's the third page hapo ni interesting. All right. And that's the Standard today. And after any other story that could be of interest, the first 3 pages. Kuna hii story ya SHA. Nimeona hapa ndani. You will see it also on other front pages. And the health CS was talking about how the fraud in SHA is being perpetrated. Apparently kuna mtu mmoja may register 50 wives and 375 children. And that's how they're defrauding SHA, according to the CS.
Oh, wow.
That story is on all papers today, but not on the front page of the Standard. The Standard niyo story ya Chan. Na hiyo story ya bribery in parliament, which we'll be talking about later with my panelists, iko hapa ndani ya hii story. All right, back page. Clash of Titans as Al Ahly and KCB face off for African glory. This is the African Women's Volleyball Club Championships reaching a fever pitch in Cairo today. The spotlight narrows down to the final clash, pitting host Al Ahly and Kenya's KCB Bank. So something to look forward to. Na mambo ya EPL, hata tukishughulikia watu wenye wako pale kileleni kule chini. Former EPL champs Leicester City relegated to League One. These people actually, Leicester City won the league about, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, Leicester City. It's 10 years ago? Oh, okay. Walipiga Arsenal. Huyo jamaa tukianza kuongea na mambo ya mpira hata tunashindwa kuendelea.
Wewe sasa ndio ulianza.
Iko kwa gazeti, sasa tusisome gazeti. Tusisome gazeti sasa.
Taifa Leo.
Tuendelee na magazeti tuachana hawa.
Wetangula awasha moto. Hiyo masuala hapo ya usajili, agizo lake kwa wabunge kuwa wachukue vitambulisho vipya kisha wapelekee wananchi katika maeneo bunge yao limekosolewa kama hatari, kwani mbali na stakabadhi hiyo kuwa katika hatari ya kusababisha changamoto za kiusalama, inaweza kutumiwa vibaya na wabunge hao kwa maslahi yao binafsi. Aliwaagiza wabunge watumie ofisi zao kuchukua vitambulisho na kuwapelekea raia makazini kwao. Lakini hii kazi ilikuwa ya nani initially, ya kupeleka ID cards?
Unafaa uende we mwenyewe uchukue ID card yako.
Sasa kwa
Huduma Center ama kwa chief mali uliapply.
Sasa kwa nini kulikuwa na hii agizo MPs waende wachukue wapeleke watu wako wao? Na
speaker wa bunge ana kazi gani kuagiza wabunge kwenda kuchukua IDs kama nani? Hilo ndo swali. Unaona hapo kama kuna inaitwaje? Is it right? Kuna justification?
Hakuna.
For members of the National Assembly to go pick IDs and distribute in the constituency.
Watatuambia hii ilikuwa kazi ya nani kitambo. This story is on page 2. Vidokeze zaidi watu 12 kotini kwa kushiriki maandamano. Miongoni mwa Wakenya waliokamatwa kwa kushiriki maandamano ya kulalamika bei za juu za mafuta ni watoto 2. Very interesting. Lakini sasa hivi mmesahau mambo na mafuta, tuko mambo nyingine. Trump arefusha muda wa kusitisha vita. Iran naye yasema rais wa Amerika ana mchezo mwingi, hivyo haizipi kauli zake uzito. Maandamano makubwa yaja, upinzani yasema. Muungano wa upinzani watangazia serikali bonge la maandamano kuanzia Juni tarehe 25 mwaka huu. Na
you see hapo wamepeana date. Jana magazeti yalikuwa na waingilia wanasiasa wengi ati kwa mbona hawakuenda maandamano. Hawakuwa wamesema wataenda maandamano. Now I think there's some congruence there. The United Opposition, Linda Mwananchi, they're all talking about the dates around June 25th. So they've given a date. Yes.
Lakini ni wakora kweli kweli. June 25th wenyewe pia wanaenda back to the streets to mark the anniversary of the 2024 finance bill protest. Ni wajanja kweli kweli. That's another story on page 3. On the top strip, ofisi ya Ruto inavyonyonya pesa kwa pupa. Kitengo cha urais chatumia shilingi bilioni 88 katika miaka mitatu. Uhuru alitumia shilingi bilioni 90 katika miaka 10. Oh wow, in 10 years former president used 90 billion shillings in 10 years.
In 10 years.
Now in 3 years, President William Ruto has used 88 billion shillings.
Yes.
Kwa Chelsea ni pigo zito baada ya pigo. The Blues katika hatari ya kukosa kufuzu kwa UEFA bado ya kupigwa tena ligini. Taifa Leo.
Umeanza masuala ya mpira nikangojea nisikie director akiongea.
Kama uko tushatoka.
Tuangazie gazeti la The Star. On The Star, Gachagua in big war with Mount Kenya MPs and county chiefs. The DCP leader is apparently fronting candidates to challenge incumbents. The other day I saw him unveiling one of the aspirants for the Kiambu gubernatorial race. And many people are like, okay, why are you announcing a candidate? But he clarified that this is an aspirant, not a candidate. That other people are still welcome and they can declare their interest in such seats. But quite a number of people, wale especially those who differ with him and are elected leaders in Mount Kenya region, tayari DCP sharp-plant candidates pale, or aspirants, to give them a run for their money. The other political story pale, and this is a rare photo of those coast leaders, 2 governors, 2 former governors, Speaker of the Senate, Secretary General of the UDA party, yeah? Wote wako hapa. Wanaita ati consolidating support. Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro, UDA Secretary General Hassan Omar, Senate Speaker Amason Kingi, Mining CS Hassan Joho, Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Nasir, and Sports CS Salim Vuria during their meeting on Tuesday. They're anticipating a visit by President William Ruto to the coastal region. Some of these people are not that close to each other, but because sasa inabidi wakuja pamoja, ndio tunaona hapo. Away from politics, number of people testing for HIV in free fall. This is data from the US. The number of Kenyans tested for HIV fell after the US briefly suspended health funding to Kenya and other countries last year. So that lack of funding imefanya watu waache kupimwa virusi vya ukimwi. Watu wapimwe.
Kwa nini?
Sijui kama now it means that there's a cost to it that you have to pay. Yeah. Because I don't understand. Walikuwa nazita nini VCT? VCT was free testing. Yes, unaenda pale unapima. So I don't know why exactly. But people, watu wengi hawapimwi virusi vya ukimwi. Ile hadithi pale ya maswala ya SHA, 50 spouses, 375 children. CS Duale exposes shocking SHA fraud schemes. And whenever we talk about SHA, it's just fraud and attempts at fraud and fraud every time. That story is on page 7. Pale juu, maswala ya vyama vya kisiasa. ODM ya Sifuna, it has been linked to a new People's Renaissance Movement, a new party. Meanwhile, UDA is running its grassroots elections today in at least 18 constituencies. You said that. So discussions around political parties, I think now this People's Renaissance Movement becomes the 93rd registered political party in Kenya. Vyama ni vingi. That's a star.
All right, the Business Daily, health and car theft insurance compensation hits 100 billion shillings. And a surge in medical bills, road accidents and car thefts drove insurance claims above the 100 billion shillings mark for the first time last year amid fears premiums could spike. The latest IRA analysis shows medical claims rose by 17.9% to about 52 billion shillings in compensation for accidents, and stolen cars increased to 12.4%, that is 40 billion shillings. And this has continued the trend where motor and medical insurers go for years without underwriting profits, making them rely on investments income to avoid losses. There's a story on page 2, and the jump in accidents and medical bills as well as a rush of fraudulent claims are expected to jack up insurance bills as insurers seek higher premiums to cover their losses. All right, Kenya freezes Binance accounts in money laundering purge. The country has frozen an undisclosed number of Binance user accounts in its first major crackdown on the booming cryptocurrency industry amid global concerns that digital currencies are being used for fraud, money laundering and financing terrorist activities. Mtalia, hii ni mbaya. Go page 2, this story. Kenya freezes Binance accounts. Now what happens to people who are investing in this?
There's always a risk involved especially when you approach this newly found investment vehicles. But anyway.
Nashangaa sana. Kama ulikuwa umeweka pesa hapo, at least tuambie kunaendaje sasa.
The lower the risk, the lower the return.
The poorer you are. Wanasema the rich take risks.
Take risks, yes.
On the ticker, Treasury tightens rules for access to climate billions. ABSA bets on tech budget to power digital drive, and Kenya extends its surplus run in trade with the UK, and that's the Business Daily. Yeah,
one more headline from Kenya, and that's the People Daily. Talks purely about political parties. Why Ruto wants a new political vehicle for 2027. Apparently, the president is keen on one big party. Hataki yo maswala ya Kenya Kwanza. Everyone, fold your small party, TSP ile ya Kiunjuri, PA ile ya Speaker Kingi, hiyo ingine ya chama cha kazi, ANC, EFP, wote ikuwe UDA party. Ndio akuwe na chama kimoja kikubwa. That's a story on page 4 of the People Daily. Tuvuke boda tuende tuangalie ndugu zetu kule Uganda na Tanzania wanazungumzia nini. Na tukianza na Uganda, the Daily Monitor this morning in Kampala goes back, revisits the story about this person who killed a number of young children, kwa daycare. Inasemekana now he had targeted 6 nursery schools. Evidence tendered in court yesterday revealed that Christopher Okello Onyum, the prime suspect in the killing of 4 toddlers at a daycare center, conducted extensive online searches on several nursery and preschool facilities across Kampala and Wakiso before the deadly attack occurred. What was his intention? Awe watoto hapa daycare, aende kwingine atafute nursery ya uwe wengine. Anyway, so that's the main story there on the front page of the Daily Monitor. And there's a story of an MP who died in Uganda, anaitwa Nakimuli, but that now is the main story on the front page of the New Vision. Because yesterday they took the body of this MP who passed on following illness to Parliament for final respects, and they said she died from fibroids, the silent health threat. Nakimuli's family speaks out, fibroids, what medics recommend. Yes, and her image there on the front page of the New Vision. Tukiingia Tanzania, gazeti la Mwananchi, serikali yaweka jicho kamati ya taka ruzuku. Ni kamati gani hii? Dembeji Ndenjembi aeleza serikali inavyochukua hatua. Kamati ya bunge yagusia mafungu ya kutumika. Wachumi wataja sababu unafuu wa bei nchini. Huyo ni waziri wa nishati, masuala ya energy. Ndo habari kuu pale. Tundu Lissu wamerejea kwenye ukurasa wa mbele, wanasema madai njama ya kumuua Lissu. Polisi yamuita Hilda. Kumbuka huyo jamaa bado yuko korokoroni. Na sasa inasemekana kulikuwa na njama ya kumuua. Gazeti la Mwananchi. On the Citizen, what really drives East Africa fuel cost disparities? Ile swali tulikuwa nauliza. How come in Kenya the cost of a liter of petrol is different or much higher than that in Tanzania and in Uganda? So that is a story that the Citizen tries to break down. Experts say the discrepancies have nothing to do with the size of road networks. Yes. Hiyo explanation ya size of road networks ni President William Ruto alipeana.
Yes.
Alisema the reason why fuel prices are higher in Kenya as opposed to Uganda and Tanzania is because of the size of our road network.
Yeah.
Sasa, these are paper in Tanzania saying it has nothing to do with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Pointing instead to taxation policies and state interventions as more decisive factors.
Roads Minister wao alisema hiyo mambo.
Amesema hapana, waache kutuambie wati hatuna barabara ndio sababu wewe waache.
Kwanza akasema Kenya na Tanzania tuko same level. Hakuna cha Kenya middle class country.
Anyway, tumwamini nani? Story ni yetu.
Well, story nani yetu.
So tutasikiza rais wetu.
Au wasikize wao pia.
Wao wasikize wao, si tusikize wetu, achane na sisi. Tuangazie karakacha sasa hapa nchini.